Minister Sikorski, thank you for acknowledging Dean Acheson, one of the founders of the Atlantic Council, who, of course, is famously known for having been there at the creation. And we are certainly at a point where much more needs to be created. I think anyone listening to you in the audience knows that you may well be one of the right men at the right time. The Eastern Partnership was visionary. The idea of a European Foundation for Democracy is visionary. It is time to create these sorts of things, so thank you so much for that. I'm honored to welcome to the stage Jan Krzysztof Bilecki, a former Prime Minister of Poland and an advisor to the Solidarity Trade Union in the 1980s. Prime Minister Bilecki, aside from being a frequent contributor to the Wall Street Journal when I was there, served as the second Democratic Prime Minister of Poland from January to December of 1990. It was the beginning of Poland's road to the European Union, NATO, full freedom and democracy. During his distinguished career, Prime Minister Bilecki also served as Minister for European Integration, and for a decade he represented Poland at the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. He is now President of the Economic Council to the Prime Minister of Poland and the Chairman of the Council of the Polish Institute of International Affairs, one of our Wroclaw Global Forum partners. Please welcome Prime Minister Bilecki to the stage. This will be a special Prime Minister to Prime Minister introduction.
Thank you. Very good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. Sunt Moldovan. So I would like to say that I'm Moldovan. As Fred Kemp decided to be Egyptian, I would like to be Moldovan, and I hope that my Moldovan language is it's really a great pleasure to present the Freedom Award to Vladimir Filat, the Prime Minister of Moldova. In this way, we want to pay tribute to his leadership in taking his country on the ambitious path towards democratic and economic maturity that is at the core of Western community of values. My pleasure in presenting this award is greatly enhanced by the fact that Prime Minister Filat also happens to be a supporter and fan of the Scorpions, the rock band. As you remember, many years ago, it was the hit, The Winds of Change, which accompanied many of us. Today, looking unfortunately gray-haired, grandfathers like me, but in our peaceful struggle for freedom 20 years ago, The Wind of Change was really moving music. And Prime Minister Filat, being with us here, bears testimony to the prophetic lyrics in that song, which spoke of the children of tomorrow dreaming away in the winds of change. The Prime Minister Filat is living that dream today, and with the wind still blowing strong in places such as North Africa, we can be sure that there will be others like him in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, Vladimir Filat deals with an enormous task of transforming a country that faces even more difficulties than we did 20 years ago. Like Poland, Moldova is reforming its politics and its economy simultaneously. But unlike us, it's also dealing with an internal conflict and separatist movements. Our task was extremely difficult, and at that time, many doubted that we would succeed. But we did. So will you, Mr. Prime Minister. Good luck.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I have to confess I am honored to receive the Atlantic Council Freedom Award. It comes from a community of people I value personally very much. The solidarity in the name of freedom comes at a price that so many of you have paid. In particular here in Poland, and I am proud to share the same values as you and to join you here tonight in Wroclaw. It's the Moldovan people who deserve this award, in particular our younger generation, who took to the streets 2 years ago in order to force the regime to conduct fair and free elections. We were persecuted while being in opposition, but we have never run away hiding. Instead, we took every opportunity to stand up and fight when fundamental rights were violated and freedoms restricted. But it was the people who took the biggest risks and fight the hardest battle for democracy and for freedom. No power can keep them in darkness. I will leave the historians to assess the impact of democratic transformations. But as a politician, I see the freedom not just from a liberal perspective of sudden change in political life, but also from the popular perspective of ensuring individual rights, competition, and prosperity. So many revolutionaries have failed their peoples. I am careful not to go down the same road. Any change of a non-democratic regime means nothing if we don't continue our efforts to make the lives of our citizens better. Receiving recognition from the Atlantic Council puts me in the company of people I have always admired, and I will strive to deserve it. Therefore, my dear friends, I receive this award with honor and pleasure, but also with the weight of responsibility for the fight of the country and people I represent. I will only deserve fully this prize when Moldova passes the point of no return in its democratic development, when it joins in the European Union, when the transatlantic values are firmly and fully incorporated into the very structure of our society. I am confident you will continue to support Moldova in this way, and I am grateful for that, as well as for the Atlantic Council Freedom Award. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much.